Hi guys, it's another episode of Nerd Time. This time it's me and Nick with a C and
Beardo with a no.
It's Nerd Time with Nic and Beardo.
Why do we do that? Like Nick with a C, Beardo with... Why do we start at the bottom, like the back? I suppose it's because him and Nick and Nick, but you should be Beardo with a B.
No, because then you guys would have to be Nick with an N, and you guys were both with an N.
N. Well, you're broken. Stop. So this is a vlog episode. So we're just gonna like share stories and stuff. And I actually thought, wow, I should share the story that happened to me yesterday because you might laugh, you might not. I'm gonna share it anyway. So I'm driving to work, and I'm on the highway, and there's this big mass in the center of my lane, and I can't quite tell what it is, but it's huge, and I'm like, it's definitely not a box. I better like pull over, right? Because when you see something like that, I think it's kind of douchey to just drive around and keep going, in my opinion, right? So I pull over and I wait for the traffic to clear. I get out and I get to the thing and it's a hood. The hood of a car just hanging out in the middle of the highway, and I'm like,
do you not stop and pull over and pick that up? I'm pretty sure that'd be kind of important.
Well, it gets better. So I grab the thing and I'm dragging it, and it's heavy, and I'm like a weak little girl. So I'm like dragging it across the highway, and these guys pull up. And he gets out and he's like, wait, that's my buddy's hood! And I'm like, what the hell? How can it be your buddy's hood? He's like, I put that thing on 2 days ago. I'm like, what? So his buddy's driving this way and he's driving this way, and he sees the car in the back because the guy's hauling the car, not driving the car, and then he sees me pulling the hood. He's like, oh my god. So I told him, you need to take a picture of this hood and send it to your friend and just be like, recognize something?
Yeah. Are you missing anything?
How do you not notice? But I guess like you're focused ahead, and it wasn't the vehicle that he was driving that lost the hood. So I guess that's how that happens. But like such a random thing when you're like driving to work, hey?
I have ran over a ladder before by accident. In my defense, as soon as I say this, everybody in the area will understand. I was on the Peace River Bridge. And there was traffic coming the other way.
Yeah.
So I couldn't swerve around it because I'd be swerving into oncoming traffic. I couldn't swerve the other way because I'd go into the, guardrail.
And you can't pull over because there's no shoulders.
And I can't even stop because there's other people behind me, and I don't want to stop the bridge. So I'm like, I'll be big enough. I can go.
My poor car.
Needless to say, I pulled over after that to make sure my tires were good. I wasn't leaking anything.
My friend, I'm going to tell her story even though she's not here, and hopefully she'll forgive me. But she had just moved here.
If she loves you, she will.
She loves me. So she had just moved here from the city, and she was driving home one night, and this guy comes flying off the sidewalk. Wait. And she's like, what's going on? He's like, my wife is giving birth. Will you drive us to the hospital? She's like, what? No.
I'm like, yeah, I can help with that.
Well, her mentality is, because she is coming from the city, is something people could potentially be doing to scam you or to rob you. So she was like, I'm not opening my door for you. You're a stranger. And if your wife's giving birth, why weren't you prepared for this? Like, it's not a surprise that she's pregnant.
Well, but some people are, honey, the baby's coming. What? The baby's coming!
Yeah, I felt really bad for her because people gave her a hard time for that.
That's like, did you hear the story about the cops on the news who actually got in a lot of trouble for it, if I recall? I think it was down in the States somewhere. There was this couple that were driving to the hospital at like 140 kilometers per hour because his wife went into labor. So they're like, we're getting to the hospital now. Cops try to pull him over because they're speeding. He doesn't pull over. He keeps going because he's like, I have to get my wife to the hospital. So he phones 911, tells them, hey, the cops are after me. My wife is in labor on the way to the hospital. I can't pull over. Can you guys talk to them and get them to stop? And they're like, no, the best thing for you to do is to pull over, explain the situation, and just let that play out. So I was like, okay. First thing to do, pull over, cops, down on the ground now, down on the ground. I'm like, okay, like not even just, sir, why were you da-da-da-da, like just get down on the ground. And he's like, my wife's in labor, get down on the ground. And I'm like, okay, guys, this is a little much. And then, like, his wife is just screaming in the passenger seat, I'm pregnant and I'm in labor, I'm having a baby.
You sound so much like a girl. No, keep going.
Anyways, and she's just freaking out about this whole thing. Finally, like 20 minutes later, actually, before that, the cops arrest him because he's evading the police technically, so he's in the backseat of the cop car. His wife is still in the passenger seat screaming her head off because she's pregnant. The ambulance is on their way. 20 minutes later, the ambulance gets there, takes her to the hospital. Meanwhile, her husband is sitting in a jail cell. Like, just horrible.
Yeah.
And then the cops were also talking about, like, getting rid of the footage. I'm like, okay, that's when I draw a line. That's when it's like, no.
Hearing all this, I'm like, that's gotta be in the States. It's gotta be.
That's gotta be in the States.
Gotta be. So, like, there's this road called Roma, right?
Yeah, Roma Road.
And the old Roma Road.
Drive.
Roma Drive, the old Roma Road, was a little bit, like, dicey. And we used to hear stories all the time about how it's haunted or whatever.
No, I've never heard stories
Oh,
of that.
my roommate and I did. And so one night we're driving home late at night, and it was just the hairiest drive we've ever had in our lives. But nothing happened. It was just weird because when we hit that dead man's curve, we both went dead silent. And we just, like, drove in silence the whole way because both of us were like,
hold your breath.
You ever get, well, it gets better. So then a couple of weeks later, I'm driving home and I Bluetooth my sister, right? And it says on the dash, it tells me who it's calling and the number, and a man picks up. And he's not discernibly human. And I'm trying to have this conversation and he's not understanding me and I'm not understanding him. And finally I was just like, hang up. And I phoned my sister back and I said, was I just talking to your husband? She's like, no, he's not home. Well, was I talking to your son? No, it wasn't my son. And I was like, okay. Oh, it said it connected you. Why was there a man? I hate the strangest things happen. Like, I'll be talking to her and every time we hit this one section, there'll be interference, there'll be weird, I'll hear other voices.
Nope.
Right? And I think it's clearly, there's some sort of, like, interference there, but it's really, really creepy at night. Just so creepy at night.
Never had anything like that happen to me driving down.
The demon voices are the worst, because they get these really garbled, deep, and you're like, what the hell is that? And my sister just laughs at me, because I get so freaked out.
Over.
Just die in the ditch. What do you do? Stop. That road.
I don't know how to get to you.
Just call me on that road, but I'll know it's you because it'll tell me it's your number. So figure out a way to hack in. Then you'll be fine.
I'll call my friend's phone. I'll use my friend's phone. You won't know their number.
I'll call him back.
Do I even have your number anymore? I don't think I do because I have a new phone.
I told you to lost it. I told you to lose it. I'm so nice. My favorite story though, really quick. Driving home from work, I was really upset. I don't remember what was going on, but like I was crying. I just sobbing my eyes out. And there's this truck pulled over on the side of the road. And I'm one of those people, I can't drive by. So I pull over and I stop. Still sobbing my eyes out. I get up, I'm walking over, I'm like, do you need help? They're like,
do you need help?
No, we're good, man. We're fine. We're good. No, you go back to your, but you need help. No, go back to your car, man. It was so funny, the horror on their faces. I got back in the car, I wasn't crying anymore, I was laughing.
My probably favorite road trip story is one day me and a buddy, and if he ever watches this, he will know that I'm talking about him. We were driving to Edmonton on Edmonton trip, whatever, and we had stopped in Whitecourt for lunch, like most people do. And then got in the car, kept driving, and he goes, Josh? And I'm like, what? And he goes, I don't know where my iPod is. And I'm like, is it in your pocket? No. Is it in your other pocket? No. Is it under your butt? No. Is it in the console? No. Is it in your coat? No. Just looking for all this stuff, looking in all the crevices in the car and all the pockets that it could possibly be in. And he's going, no, I don't know where it is, I can't find it. And I go, okay, well, maybe we left it on the counter at the restaurant. Turn around. We were like 10 minutes out, so it wasn't too much of a turnaround. 5 minutes later, hey, Josh. I'm like, what? He goes, don't kill me. And I'm like, depends. What are you going to say? Choose your next words carefully. And he goes, I found my iPod. I'm like, where was it? And I just brake, turn, gas.
You're walking.
She's like, I'm sorry.
Aww. So, yeah, that's been our episode today of Storytime with Nic and Beardo with a B. I'm going to start that. That'll be our name.
No.
Oh, fine. So we will see you in the next episode, maybe, if you tune in. Do you tune in anymore? I'm like showing my age here. Remember the old TVs you had to tune in?
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. You don't remember that. You're
I
just
do.
saying, you're not old enough to remember that.
I remember when my grandma and grandpa had a green TV screen because it was so old.
Wow, that is old.
Yeah, see? Don't even.
So we will see you in the future.
Or in the past.
That was interference from the
88 miles per hour! 1.21 gigawatts.
Coming for you.
Stop!